Welcome to Let Us Farm. My name is Emelefon Noel Oge of Let Us Farm. So today we are going to be discussing about how to transfer your catfishes to your pond. So in case this is your first time of seeing me or joining me, this is Let Us Farm page, and all we do here is we try to teach ourselves practical solutions to solving all our agri problems. And if you are having any issue in your farm, all you simply need to do is do a 2 to 3 minutes video of these problems and send to me. Please, whenever you are doing this video, do it when you are feeding your catfishes. That gives me a better perspective of how and what is wrong with your catfishes. Just send it to me. I will look at this and profile you with a solution. This I will be doing and I've been doing for free. And may I really use this opportunity to remind you that if you've not subscribed to this page, kindly subscribe to this page so that whenever I drop any video, you will see it and click on the notification bell. So once it drops, you get notified. Don't forget, I don't have any WhatsApp group. I don't have any private group for anything. I don't have anything I'm selling. So anything you are told is from me selling groups and all these things, please discard that. It's not from me. I'm just here to lend my little help to support anyone who wants to support in this, who wants to support and is willing to grow in this business. So I'll be right back to discuss this. Welcome back. So like I said, we'll be looking at how to transfer your catfishes to your pond. Normally this may look so easy, and many people actually do a lot of things during this transfer process, but let me tell you something. The manner you handle your fishes determines the success of your fishes, because in transferring fishes, let's say when you buy fish, you bring it to your pond. How you transfer these fishes from where you bought this fish to your pond actually determines what happens, the kind of livability your fishes are going to live all through their life. So if on this first process you, for one or two reasons, did not handle it well, and your fishes start suffering stress from that first time, and you were not able to control these abnormalities, no matter what you do in the process, some of them are going to still have this problem. And you know what? In this business, it's always good to, if you have 10, make sure that the 10 you have, you take proper care of it. If you have 20, make sure that the 20 you take proper care. If you have 1,000, 2,000, and so on. So it's not good to drop the ball losing some numbers, because each time you are losing some numbers, you are losing your profit. This is the business of catfish rearing. It's a pity that many people may not even understand this. They think that it's just about giving fish feed and all that. No. Now, I want to explain this. I'm going to do this using videos that some people sent to me. So like I always say, I prefer when I use people's video, it gives others a clearer view that it's not just me saying it, but this is some practical things that people are doing. So because if I use what I do direct, it will look like, oh, because you know how to do it, you think it's that easy. So these are the reasons why most times I prefer, whenever people send me videos, I use it to teach others, because then you can now feel that, okay, someone else is doing it, that means I can do it. So having said that, if you go to buy your catfish, be it juvenile, be it fingerlings, be it jumbo, be it whatever name it is called, you notice that the first activity that goes on from the hatchery is the counting. Now, counting is the process of counting the fishes and putting in the traveling jerry can for you with water. This process alone is even stress, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. That is the only way to get this to you. Now, by the time you are giving this fish, they put it inside water in the kegs. Now, you may have noticed that sometimes people lose a lot of fishes on the way. One of the reasons is actually caused by buyers. I will explain. And why the other reason is actually caused by sellers, and I will still explain. Now, why is it caused by buyers? Because sometimes the guy that wants to sell the fish to you will tell you that, you know what, buy the big black jerry can, buy like 3 or 4, Some will tell you that they put only 500 in one of it. Some will say they put only 700. They do the buyer. You now want to save money. Say, no, I bought somewhere and they did this figure. Sometimes because the seller knows that this may cause problem, they argue. But some sellers will say, oh, if it is your choice, no problem. But whatever happens, no problem. It's your own responsibility. And buyers reluctantly say no problem. But if you think this twice, even if you use more jerry cans to buy, the jerry can is still yours, right? And what you are trying to save is the interest of your own fishes, not the seller. So why not buy it yourself and give him the jerry can if maybe his prices of the jerry can is so much? Now, when these sellers, the fault of the sellers is that if I were to sell, I would insist that you agree to take full responsibility. But some sellers will not even get to the point of explaining why this is done. You see, this is the problem. Because if the seller explains and you insist, it's now your problem. So when you now overcarry too much of these things in the container, what happens is that they are choked up. Depending on the distance, the longer the distance, the lesser they are supposed to be in each container. What do I mean? A distance of 10 minutes, the container may carry 500. But a distance of 4 hours, that instead of that 500, it will be reduced to 300, just to give them space inside. Now, if you have succeeded in carrying this to your farm, this is where we have another issue. Fishes are very fragile. They respond to environment so much. Now, remember there is stress already in the container used in transporting them. So when you get to your pond, what now happens is that you're supposed to transfer them to the pond. Depending on any type of pond. So the best method of transferring your fishes is to carry the keg, put inside the pond, lower the pond for fishes to swim out. Watch this video and you see it. Now, as you can see in the video, the fishes are in the keg, put inside the pond and lowered. The fishes will swim out with the water. Now, some of the fishes may be stuck inside. They don't want to come out. That's not a problem. From that same pond, pour the water inside and now increase the height of the gallon or whatever you use in transporting your fish. So if it was on a flat base and some swam out and some did not swim out, what you do, you put water, raise the base of the container, you see, the water pressure here, push them out, they go. But then again, because of, like I said, some of us, we don't know. Let me just try to say that we don't know. But some, they know. But, because maybe probably they want to rush to go and do some other things. Now, what they do is they get to the pond, they just bend down the fish like this, and the fish starts falling like they are falling from the sky. And what some do is, watch this video. Now, what some do is they put their hand and start, throwing the fishes in the pond. Well, once the fish land inside the water, what you notice is that they go down, they start swimming. Well, while it seems that there's no problem, with either method, because sometimes when you do this, when you introduce your fish in the pond, you don't notice anything immediately, because most of the fishes will go down, trying to take a rest, trying to swim around. You won't notice the fish immediately. But what happens here is this: because they hit the water with force. Remember, there was a stress on them from where they were sorted, counted for you to move. Now you throw them, they hit the water. What happens is that they now have shock. So there is this shock they meet because of the method they use in hitting the water. So there's now this shock in them. Now it may look no problem, but sometimes immediately happens, you see the result the next day. Sometimes within 24 hours, you see many fishes dead and flowing up. You now turn back and accuse the seller that he gave you dead fishes. The seller will say no, that when I loaded these fishes, they were all alive. So there will be an argument of who supplied the dead fishes and who killed the fishes within 24 hours. I have seen situations that someone bought 1,000 and on getting home he lost like 600. So I tried to explain, but they felt I was supporting somebody, so I kept quiet, because sometimes when you lose money, you are not happy, and because you are not happy, you always try to look for something, someone, somehow to blame the loss on a particular cause. And in most cases in this catfish farming, it doesn't really go like that. There are errors, avoidable errors. So like I said, you see, these fishes have hit the pond and there is this shock. Like I said, sometimes the next day, those ones that were severely affected from the stress of during the hatching, the sorting, the stress of during the movement and transfer to the pond, you see them floating dead. Even some, if you do it in the morning, when you come back in the evening time, you see them floating on top of the water, meaning that they're already gone, out of weakness and the shock. But there are these particular ones that they will not die. But you know what happens to them? They will never grow well. They will be inside the pond struggling for survival. So when you put food, they don't come up. Remember, they have shock, and fishes are very sensitive to their environment. So when they have shock, they have fear. And because they have fear, if you put food, they won't come up. So it's those ones that are now okay with the system that comes up. So you see, they don't eat. They will look for anything underground the water. That's what they will be feeding on. And that's why you see them, they look very small. So you may have seen some of what I have said, you may have noticed it, but you may be wondering, why did it happen? So now, if you want to, because this thing I'm saying is the first major issue that affects your fish in the pond. Now, for you to eliminate this issue, what you're going to do is we start from the point of hatching. Make sure you buy from a trusted source. This trusted source already have a calculation of what it puts inside a traveling container, because they calculate it using the distance and the space that the container will carry. Don't try to impose your idea of them doing more than what they want to do in each container. So with this, you know that your own side, you are okay. So if there's any problem, the person will likely go back to the person that supplied the fish and he will bear it. So when you now get this point solved, so the guy supplying you or the lady supplying you now have a base point that this is the number I want you to go with. Don't tell them, don't insist that they increase it. You collect this supply. Now, when you collect this supply, the next point is, how do you transfer So remember what I said? When you move these fishes to your pond, you want to transfer it. Put the container with the fish and the water inside the pond, just like you will watch now. Then bend it, the fishes will gradually flow out. In case there are the ones that did not flow out, no problem. Adding more water, lift the base point up from the mouth, they will flow out. This is applicable to any type of pond, be it concrete pond, tarpaulin pond, earthen pond, rubber tanks, same thing. So if for some reasons your pond is so big that you can't go inside, you can't bend the something you want to use and pour your fishes, simple. Bend that container, use an alternative bucket outside, bend the container to flow in little by little into the bucket. So anyone that flows, drop it inside the pond, bend it, it will still come out without problem. If there are things you don't understand from what I have said now, if there are things you would like me to explain, kindly use the comment section. And if you're having any issue with your farm, simply do a 2 to 3 minutes video and send to me. Until I come your way next time, my name is Emelifon Manuel Oge of Let Us Farm. Keep farming, it's a way of life.